Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. It has been a minute. I have not recorded a podcast episode in a few weeks, and I'm sorry about that. I actually meant to post a thing saying I was just going to take a minute for the holidays, but I just got busy and didn't do it. But that's no excuse. So I am going to update you on some things that have been going on and some things that are going to be happening. So the reason I took a break was really mainly I just got busy. It was I think I did an episode, I think my last one was just right before Christmas. I did an episode with my friend Michelle Perda about holiday stress. And then school ended. We did Christmas and my family was out of town for New Year's. We went to Disney World. And then I was just busy, getting back into the rhythm of things with school. And then it snowed and all the things. And so that was one part of it. And then the other part of it was that I, for a while, had been feeling a little bit unaligned with what I'm doing with the podcast. I just was feeling like and it's not just the podcast, it's kind of everything I've been doing in the coaching just was starting to feel a little different from what I wanted to be doing. And so I just kind of sat with that, was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I decided that I was going to pursue making a change. And so I've actually hired a new coach, a business coach, who is helping me take all the things that I want to do and make them a reality. And so I wanted to tell you about that and the shift that I'm making and what that's going to look like. But it's been a really great experience because, for the past year and a half, I've been doing so for the first year and a half that I had this podcast, which was, I guess, 3 years ago, a little over. It was just a general therapy podcast, and I did episodes mostly by myself, and they were topics, just kind of daily, just random general therapy stuff and wellness stuff. And then I rebranded about a year and a half ago, and I decided that I wanted to really focus my work on couples and how to help married couples nurture their marriage after having children. And that went very nicely with what I was doing in my practice. So as a therapist, I own a group practice. I see therapy clients every day and I love it. But I wanted to focus specifically on doing coaching for couples because there's so much work that's needed in that field. And so I decided to try it as a coaching option because under my license as a therapist, there are a lot more limitations. I can only practice in the state of Texas and insurance, blah, 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 blah. And so with coaching, I had a lot more freedom and flexibility. So I decided to do that. I did it for about a year and a half. I loved it. It was fun, but I didn't love it as much as I like. I still felt like there was something more that I wanted to do. Also, I realized that so much of the work that needs to be done with couples, hold on, let me get my bag here, oops, is really done better in the arena of therapy because it is really hard to engage couples in work on their marriage, just like full stop. And especially outside of the realm of therapy, it just seemed a little harder. It was hard to get mostly the men to engage, but it was fun. I had a good time doing it, but it wasn't what I really wanted to do. And I knew that. I started learning that about myself. And that's what I love about all the things that I do is everything I do professionally, personally, always leads to growing personally for me. And so I realized that um, in the past year and a half of doing that, that my passion really lies in working with the women, specifically married moms. So in my practice, my therapy practice, I do a lot of this anyway, but I realized that as I was doing all these episodes and the rebrand of the podcast to the Childproof Your Marriage was pretty much mostly guests on with me. It wasn't just me. And as I was doing that, I loved it. I got to know some amazing people. I built some great friendships just through doing that. But some of the feedback that I got from my loyal listeners, which you guys are awesome, is that people missed my solo episodes and they didn't always relate to the topics that were being discussed with the guests, which is fine. Not every topic is going to resonate with every person. Um, So I decided, I'm like, okay, all of this is leading me somewhere, what do I want to do? And so realizing that I love working with married moms, I decided to go down that path. And so with my new coach, we've been really spending a lot of time trying to understand, like, what do I want to do? What would be my focus? What is that kind of passion that I have in working with married moms? What does that mean? And so I delved into that. And so I wanted to update you on what I've learned and what I'm turning that into. So I am rebranding the podcast and everything that goes with it. It's still in process. I've literally been working with my coach for 3 weeks and we've figured out a ton of stuff. She's amazing. But what I want to do as far as the podcast has been pretty much pinpointed. Everything else later, we're still building that. I don't know what I want my program to look like and how specifically I want to work with women outside of the podcast. But I have some really fun ideas that I want to explore with my coach, Whitney. But the podcast itself is going to change from Childproof Your Marriage to Married Moms Take Control. So let me explain to you what that means. So the role that a married mom plays in life is really unending, right? There are multiple roles. We wear lots of hats, and they're beautiful roles that we're wired to play, right? Like I think moms are there's an innate gift that a lot of moms have to be all the things, but it's hard. It's a hard role, and at the root of the root of the strong wife and the strong mom is the strong woman, and that's the part that I really love to work with is the woman who nurturing the woman beneath the mom, beneath the wife. And so much of the time, the woman gets overlooked, not just by others, honestly, mostly by herself, right? So, as moms, we are really committed and dedicated to the stuff we do as a wife and as a mom that our kind of taking care of ourselves just kind of falls to the back end and the back burner. And before we know it, we don't really have track of ourselves as strongly. And she can't really get around to taking care of herself the way she wants to because of how amazing of a mom she is and amazing as a wife that she is. And so as a therapist, I love working with women in general. And the reason it's especially fun for me to work with married moms is because I love helping them transform their lives. So as cheesy as that sounds, let me break it down to you. So what this usually looks like, if a woman comes to me in my practice as a therapist, she will come typically with this presenting problem of, I just don't feel like myself. Something feels off, right? And not really knowing what that means. A lot of the times women who come to me don't know exactly what that means, but she knows that she just doesn't feel great about several things in her life. And so what I end up doing is kind of taking, hearing all the things, hearing what's going on, and then piecing it all together with her, for her, and then figuring out what is really off, like specifically what are the parts of life that aren't going very well. So sometimes it could be, anxiety or stress, feeling disconnected from her husband, lacking confidence in herself, not knowing how to regulate emotions, or not knowing how to talk to her husband about her feelings. Sometimes not being confident in her role as a mom or as a wife, or just not being confident in herself in general, her achievements and her accomplishments, or just general how she lives her life, the things she does, feeling disconnected from herself as far as not knowing what brings her passion or what fulfills her in life, not having something of her own. So, and then just the list goes on, right? So there's so many more aspects of this. But what I love is that I get to walk through that transformation to help women, married moms specifically, create that deeper connection with her husband, where he understands her better as an individual, or to kind of more effectively communicate her needs and her emotions, to boost her self-confidence, to become a more empowered mom who nurtures both her children and her own growth. I get to help her regulate her emotions instead of reacting in family situations or conflict, or marital conflict or general conflict. I get to help her find personal joy and fulfillment while juggling all these roles as a wife and as a mom. And I get to learn I get to help her learn how to implement boundaries, that respect her needs and the needs of her family, advocating for herself, advocating for her kids. I get to help her transform her frustrations into patience, how to manage being frustrated, how to manage chaos that sometimes comes up in the household, and how to be more, handle that with grace and with kind of strength. I get to help her rebuild her sense of self after putting so much focus on her family and on the other important things in her life, or her career, her work. And I really like kind of the ultimate thing that is, at the root of all that is helping her build her personal identity along with her role and her identity as a wife and a mom. And there is just something about the work that I do with women like this that is just a favorite of mine. It brings me so much joy. It brings me so much fulfillment because it's such a huge transformation that transcends just that woman and what she's going through, but it trickles down into the family, and then progress or improvement in each relationship, relationship with her husband, relationship with her children, relationship among family members, the home, the mood at home, the environment, the fun among the family, the friendships within the family, and the boundaries within the family. Like, by helping the married mom manage herself and understand what she needs to do to be able to be a good wife, to be a good mom, and to be a strong self, it makes this huge transformation in the entire home. And that is what I love. I love those women coming back to me and when I see them regularly, and I get to see them feeling more confident, feeling more in control, feeling like, oh my, I can set the tone in my home, the way I respond to my kid's mood or my husband or the stressful thing that's going on, or the chaos in the morning, or the chaos at bedtime, like the way that I manage it, the way I learn to implement structures and systems, and just how I communicate with my family. Like, I love seeing the whole thing change for that woman, because behind the scenes it's changing for her entire family, and I love it. I love it. And so much of this is work that I've done on myself over the years. I've been married for 17 years. I've been with my husband for over, I think, almost 21 years now. We have a 12-year-old son. I have learned how to grow into, like, I've grown into the woman that I am today by doing all these things for myself. And I think that's part of why I love doing this, is because I have so much of my own personal experience in this growth, and the challenges that I went through, that, with myself, with my family, with other people, learning how to be more confident, learning how to have better boundaries, learning how to do what I call find your voice, which is learn to communicate your emotions. I'm a very sensitive and emotional person, and I interacted with the world through my emotions so much when I was younger, a young adult, young married mom, young married and young married mom, that I learned how to manage this and be able to maintain the aspects of my personality, that sensitive, big-hearted person that gets her feelings hurt, but also to be so strong in the way that I communicate, the way I handle conflict, the way I handle boundaries. Like, I'm so much better at it, and it's something that I will continue to grow in. But I think because I have been able to see such a transformation in my own life, I think internally that's why I'm so passionate about doing that with other married moms. Now, why I wanted to do the couples thing to begin with was because I saw that transformation in my marriage and felt like if I could help other couples do this together, that would be amazing. But then I realized, as I've been doing this the past year and a half, that really the work that I needed to focus on was with married moms. So that is the rebrand of this entire thing that I'm doing. I'm really excited about the change, but I know it means that I'm breaking up with some of you, right? Like, so there will be I have lots of loyal male listeners, and I really appreciate that you've been with me, and you can hang out. You can stay and listen to all the things. There will be lots of things that I talk about that will apply to you. But really, it's the audience, my target audience is going to shift to married moms. And same goes for my women that listen to me that aren't moms. You might be married. A lot of what I have talked about, or will continue to talk about, will apply to your marriage. So you're welcome to stay along, whether you plan on having children or not. But it doesn't matter. A lot of that will apply, but yes, my target audience from now on will be married moms. So I hope that that you'll go along this ride for me. A lot of changes are going to be coming with that. Like I said, I'm still figuring out the ins and outs of what kind of the rest of the programs and what I'm going to really be digging into will look like. But as far as the podcast, that is the first thing that I'm going to be changing. So in the next few weeks, I'm not sure exactly when the first episode of the new show will come out, but I'm going to just rebrand it. So all the old episodes will still be there for anyone that wants to go back and listen. But the name will change, the description will change, and the topics moving forward will change. It's probably just going to be mostly me. I might have guests from time to time, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to listen to the people that have given me feedback, and I really think I'm going to go back to making it just about the kind of solo episodes. They won't be as long because when you have a guest, it just naturally, when you've got two people talking, you talk for a lot longer. So I'm going to try to keep it in that 20 to 30-minute episodes, more bite size. Who knows? I'm a talker. You never know how it'll go, but that'll be my goal. But I am so excited. I am so excited about what I'm doing. I'm very thankful for my coach who's helping me bring all the thoughts that have been circulating in my mind, bringing them out and helping me figure out what I want to do. And I am just a pursuer, if that's a word, of things that fulfill me. And my business and my practice fulfills me. My relationship with my husband and my child fulfill me. My friendships fulfill me. But there's just this part of me that is just loves the podcast, loves being able to help people outside of the counseling setting because there's so much more flexibility and freedom there and so much more reach that I can have. So stay tuned. This is the last episode of Childproof Your Marriage and coming pretty soon, and everything will shift. The subscription list that I have for the email is going to shift. I'm going to go through and I'm going to probably send something out to follow up with this and explain this because not everyone may catch this episode, but I'll send out an email to all my followers. If you are not on my list, that you don't follow my emails, I would love to have you. I usually just send one email a week with info about whatever new episode is coming out. So I hope that you'll follow me on that. And once I shift kind of the way to join my list, I'll also be sending that out. But I hope you'll go on this new journey with me. I've talked to a few people about what I'm doing and a few moms, and the excitement that I got back already seems very different than what I had with the coaching, with the couples work, because I think there's just more control of like, I don't have to, if there's someone that I'm reaching out to and talking to about what I do, it's easier for them, that woman, to join in and get to work and make all the things change for her than to have to try to engage her husband and get him in and try to get him to want to do it. And so I'm excited about the feedback that I've gotten from the people I've talked to about this. It seems to be something that resonates a lot with just average day-to-day moms, and that is what nurtures me and what I'm doing as well. So all right. So thank you for those who have been my loyal listeners. I hope you'll stay on with me, and I hope that you'll just help me transition into this new thing that I'm doing. All right, folks. Thank you. Bye.